another show here on the Gentleman of Crypto and BI, Black Room Investing. Before we get started here, Q Indigo Saint, just wanted to let y'all know, sorry, we started a little late today, but we getting into it. Let's go. Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Black Room Investing, let's go.
Who's this producer? Best believe I was black or invested. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifested. So we binge on our black or invested. Best believe I was black or invested. That course in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. So thank God for that black or invested. Best believe I was black or invested.
My man Indigo. What's up, guys? Let me go switch to share. And then while people are piling in, we're going to do our usual, share to Twitter, stuff like that, whatnot. Today's episode, what if cash was trash and crypto is king? So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, especially here in the US, where it's like crypto flooding is at an all-time high, right? So what if it's the other way around? What if cash was trash and crypto is king? And I think if you follow me during this, like, crypto flooding is at an all-time high, right? Um, get rid of echo. So if you follow me on this journey, we'll get to see here that my what if may not be so far in the future, may not be so far a what if, you know what I mean? But let's continue. Let's have this journey because I think it's very important here to have this journey and see where it leads us. So we're gonna just hit up some people here in Twitter or say we're live now on the GLC and on BI. And then we'll see who's in the house here. Okay, boom, got that. All right. So, what if cash was trash and crypto is king? So, let's just start by saying here we got some of the all-time highest crypto FUD here in the US. If you guys aren't aware, Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla are out here gabbing and going at each other over Logan Paul's crypto project. So CoffeeZilla. So here we go. So CoffeeZilla is basically calling Logan Paul's NFT project a scam, and these two dudes are going at it, right? So it's another kind of black eye for crypto because it's like calling out NFT projects for being a scam, and a lot of them are. A lot of them are. However, I think for the larger public, they're like, okay, what they're left with is that crypto's a scam, crypto's a scam. That's what they're left with. And we know we already had this SBF debacle, and people were like calling that a scam. And we've been over the FTX debacle here on Black Room Investing. Y'all know what went down with that. Y'all know what's going on with that. So most of that, you just know the story on that. But for the most, because this is kind of how we're looking at it, for the most people out there, who know nothing about crypto, which is the majority of the society, the story they're left with is crypto is a scam. Okay. Now, let's flip that, shall we? Let's flip it. Because one of the things we don't talk about much here in crypto land is that over the last 2 years, I guess some people talk about it, but I don't hear it really be in the focus. Over the last 2 years, the US Federal Reserve has printed 80% of all dollars in existence. And this printing started on the onset of Rona uh, to provide stimulus checks to every American, blah, 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 blah. So, really, the value of cash due to inflation has actually gone down. Your dollar does not buy as much as your dollar used to buy. And they've done some things to kind of finagle us out of actually saying that we're in a recession, because they say, they've changed the definition. Um, a lot of these inflation um, metrics don't even include energy and food, which are the things that have grown the most. As a matter of fact, if I can go through some of my liked tweets, let me see here. I think I actually replied to this. Sal the Algorist put up the price of eggs in like 2017. If it takes me too long to find it, I'm just gonna move on. Okay, we're just gonna move on. So the price of eggs in 2017 was like 27 cents. Can you believe that? 27 cents. And a carton of eggs now costs what? Like $8? So if the inflation metrics don't take into account food and energy, what are you doing out there, right? What are you doing? Um, so we already know rent is rose, so many things have rose, but yet you get counter stories in the U.S. about how strong the dollar is, because the dollar might be stronger than other currencies, but other currencies are also dealing with inflation. They're dealing with rising energy costs too. They're dealing with rising food costs as well. So it's not just us. This is actually a global problem. So globally, cash is becoming trash. But if you sit here in the US, they try to give you a story that it's not, right? As in, the dollar's never been stronger. But what they're comparing it to is a whole bunch of other inflated currencies. So relative to a whole bunch of other inflated currencies, yeah, it might be strong. However, if you go back and compare it to 2017, where eggs were 27 cents and now they're $8, it's trash, right? So if we look and we continue to see that money continues to be printed in all these different um, Rona or quote unquote pandemic type of ways, um, it's quite possible that cash becomes trash. Um, Again, I played something for you guys 2 days ago where the UK was doing like a stimulus for their guys. So seems like they too are just printing money. So when we think about the great R, that Klaus Schwab talks about, the great, you know what I mean? Maybe the great is a, and when you used to play your video games, sometimes you used to have to go in and press reset, right? The great, maybe it's an actual great play video game reset of money. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's consider that, shall we? Let's consider it. With crypto, again, I've showed you guys countless amounts of stories where CBDCs are kind of coming up where people like Ripple, who we highly like around here, is as far as like we highly like the what the coin XRP could possibly give to us. And here you can even see by utilizing XRP as a digital asset for ideal payments. Ripple's ODL solution allows customers to send money across borders instantly with very low cost settlement and without the need to hold pre-funded capital in the destination market. So in some instances where you see they could use the word CBDC, um, they're also talking about instant payments. So instant payments and CBDCs kind of overlap a little bit. But you can see here, Central Bank of Brazil, they approved this for XRP for Ripple. So XRP and Ripple, they're getting in league with central banks and getting around the whole CBDC stuff. They're getting in league with that. So here you can see they're in the market with 780 billion payments annually. 700 billion, 780 billion with a B. You hear me? Billion with a B. You see what I'm saying? So that's Ripple there in Brazil. But not only are they in Brazil, they're also in the UAE. They're also in the UAE. Not only are they also in the UAE, I didn't grab a story for this, but they're also in Australia. So maybe when we hit the reset, maybe we see us flip on and Ripple is one of the XRP is one of the things they go to as a currency. Maybe cash gets trashed and we're here with Ripple. But surely it can't just be Ripple, right? Not Ripple alone. What else have we shown you on that front? What else have we brought up and showed you on that front? Also, Stellar with Danelle Dixon here. They're Warren. CBDC is progressing fine. Let me see who we got in the house here. What's up, Ace? So, yo, guys, we went real long with what's up, Crypto Neat? Crypto always a scam. Yep, that's how they do us, man. That's how they do us out here. What's up, Ryu Shirukin 7? What is up, Relaxing Serenity Sounds? So, yeah, guys. I don't know if you guys missed the beginning or not, but yeah, the U.S. is at an all-time high with this FUD. Just very quickly to just recap that, I don't think it will hurt too much. The U.S. is at an all-time high with the FUD. You got Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla out here beefing over Logan Paul's NFT project. But I think for the rest of the world, what they're left with is crypto's a scam. A lot of times we kind of got to get ourselves out of our ecosystem here. We know that we love crypto, but we got to also kind of peek around and look at the rest of the world and see what they're doing, because they've gone through a thing where they've kind of partitioned out the people who believe one way and partitioned out the people who believe another way. So we're in our silos, right? All right. If you're kind of a conspiracy head, you're over in Rockfin or Truth Social, or you're on those type of platforms. You're just taken away from the people on Twitter, and you're taken away from the people on YouTube, so you don't pollute them, right? You're taken away from that. So they partitioned you off. They don't have to worry about you changing other people's opinions because you're over here on this other platform, and they need that because okay, if you're on Rockfin and you're conspiracy head, they don't want you polluting everybody else's opinion, right? Um, but we got to take some time to kind of get out of our silo and see what is being given to the rest of the world, right? So CoffeeZilla kind of really like he was big before he had like a million people, but when he poked his head out on Lex Friedman, who some people might believe is paid opposition, some people might believe that. Let's just put it out there like he might be paid opposition in some people's minds. We'll just say that. So CoffeeZilla was on Lex Friedman talking about SBF. Then all of a sudden now he's going after Logan Paul and he's growing his audience over 2 times. Like they went from like one something million to like two something million. Shout out to BitBoy for mentioning that, right? Um, so this guy is over here with the whole FUD on Logan Paul's NFT project. And I think what the rest of the world who like Logan Paul's followers, CoffeeZilla's followers, which there are millions, sees is that crypto's a scam. It doesn't matter who wins the argument or whatever. What they basically see is crypto's a scam. Um, Again, we've covered the whole SBF thing. What the rest of the world sees there is crypto is a scam. Okay. So while we sit here as crypto people and investing in crypto, seems like the most of the world here thinks crypto's a scam. And we went over this article here over the last 2 years, and this is from Seeking Out Alpha. They're pretty reputable. Um, the U.S. Federal Reserve has printed 80% of all U.S. dollars in existence. Okay, 80%. So cash is becoming trash, and we went over inflation here. Like the dollar buys less than it ever has, even though they would try to let you believe that the dollar is strong, but it's strong relative to other inflated currencies. It's not strong overall. Um, it is still dealing with inflation. All other currencies are dealing with inflation as well, because a lot of these other countries, like the UK, um, which we showed, are giving stimulus, so they're just printing dollars. So maybe we get a reset of currency to these cryptocurrencies that we've been looking at, right? Maybe that's what happens here. And if you guys have any questions, we'll address those towards the end here. Um, just to want to let you know, we did a very long live stream yesterday, went over some really great stuff. Just come on over to the channel, darkhorsewatcher.com. Quick like and subscribe for sure. And you can check out our live stream yesterday. We spoke on what is LCX holding. LCX is a member of the World Economic Forum. So you got to believe whatever LCX holds, the World Economic Forum probably believes in them a little bit. Probably believes in them a little bit. So check that out. Now back to where we were here. Seems like Ripple in nations that matter, right? And a lot of these developing quote unquote, what do they call them? BRICS nations. If you're not familiar with that term, let's bring it up here. So BRICS nations is an acronym for 5 leading emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The first 4 were initially grouped as BRIC or the BRICS. So a lot of people also throw into this whole, they throw like every Chinese culture, like every Asian culture kind of into China. So when you say BRICS, you will also probably be talking Korea, Indonesia, and possibly Japan as well. So just understand that. But yeah, so basically emerging economies when you say BRICS nations, and also Saudi Arabia, the whole Arab, all of the Arab countries would probably be put in here. The Arab countries and the Israeli um, countries. We won't get into that whole conflict or whatever, but they might be grouped in here too. So we just showed you. I don't know where I put that. Okay, Stellar in the Ukraine, they're getting their CBDC online. So slowly, all of these are getting their little CBDCs online. And I know we spoke on it yesterday. Let me see if I can find it here. Unless I got rid of the article. The Algorand is teaming with the Bank of Italy. So you can see it right here. Bank of Italy picks Algorand for a project. So a lot of these central banks seem to be picking certain projects, and we've been over these projects. So 202 projects, the ones that kind of key banks, right? We've been over these projects before, right, guys? Um, it seems like they're positioning themselves in these countries to be the next currencies. So meanwhile, all these governments are just printing cash, printing euros, printing pounds, and things like Stellar, things like Ripple, things like Hedera, things like Algorand are positioning themselves in these countries to be the replacements. India exploring state digital rupee. Who's telling you that? Oh, look, it's Hedera. Hedera's telling you that India is exploring state digital rupee. I'm sure they're going to help them with that, right? Very interesting. It's beginning to look a lot like cash is trash. So this was actually in 2019. The Ethereum or Hedera hash graph will help in running those nodes. When we already know Ethereum is heavy with JP Morgan, right? So you could kind of throw them in this list too, right? We can throw Ethereum definitely in this list of banker type coins, right? So we got the Ethereums of the world doing that. So again, it's beginning to look a lot like cash is trash. It may be a reset would include these ISO cryptos. I don't know. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me before I go. Before I continue to go, what do you guys think about that? What's up, Crypto Kalidi? Okay, we'll go to a couple questions. Why don't Neek, you asking me a question? I couldn't tell you why people in control only deal with South Africa mainly. I'm not sure. Well, actually, to be honest, I can answer that question. A lot of a lot. I actually can answer that question. A lot of people in South Africa was under British control back in the day, so there might be a lot of remnants of very powerful British families still in South Africa. So that might be the deal there. Um, you know, Britain Britain controlled a lot of the world for a long time, and they still do actually. So I can't I can actually answer that question. Um, did you Phantom B? You said this is all unrelated nonsense. What you talking about? What you talking about? Let me know, brother. Um, did you mention the U.S. sending another Ukrainian package? Oh yeah, oh yeah, they definitely did send. They continue to see it send the Ukrainian packages, and also Stellar Stellar is helping with that. Where is it? UN taps Stellar blockchain to send money to war impacted Ukrainians. And remember, it's in the USD stablecoins. Remember, we checked it out last night. Which is a stable coin that LCX holds, USDC, right? So you can tell they're very highly in with the World Economic Forum. So yeah, Phantom B, what you saying is unrelated, brother? I want to know. I want to make it make sense to everybody. Um, I think you're right. Stellar has been quiet behind the scenes while XRP is getting the spotlight. Well, both like Stellar, I don't think people know that Stellar is working with Ukraine and working with them to get a CBDC. I think people over here in America have no idea about that, no clue. They're too busy with the Logan Pauls of the world and the SBFs of the world to even have any idea about that. Or what's going on with Ripple and how Ripple's just slowly saying, okay, every country, we can give you instant payments. Like they have no idea. This is all happening right in front of most people, and they're not paying attention. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is happening right in front of most people's eyes. The cash is not king. That crypto could be king, um, but along that same line, like you'd rather do anything other than have your stuff in cash at this point. Gold bars, real estate, um, but our focus is going to be crypto here, right? At this point, cash is such trash at this point. Um, it's crazy, yeah. Just more paper printing going on. Like at this point, cash is so trash. And I got to thinking, right? You know how the banks they say, okay, they're limiting more and more how much money we can grab out of the bank, right? Um, you can only grab two. I think it's like 250. Some banks, $500, maybe some banks, and of course they're doing the same thing overseas. I think over in Nigeria, you can only get out like $65 out of the bank. Like we're looking at it as a form of control, but maybe the reason you can only get a certain amount out of the bank is because they don't have it. If everyone tried to go get $500 out of the bank, maybe the bank would be like, we don't have it, and that would create a huge panic. You know, not trying to create any fear PORN over here. Not trying to create any fear mongering, right? But maybe the reason the banks limit the amount that we can get out is because they're fearing bank runs. That's a quite a possibility, right? So I start hearing next week. Portillo's will not be accepting cash anymore. Yeah, we're at that point. We're at that point, guys. Um, we're sincerely at that point. Um, while these different cryptos, these different ISO related cryptos, are just putting themselves right in position to be the replacements. Like Can you imagine how much XRP would be if it's the replacement for Brazilian currency and um, United Arab Emirates currency, and they have to purchase, they have to utilize XRP to get money moving through their central banks? Can you imagine how valuable those things would be at this point? Um, I remember when we were looking at BitcoinTreasuries.net, they pointed out that while people are so big up in El Salvador, right? El Salvador could be one of the richest nations in the world, right? If they continue to hold all this Bitcoin. Look at the Ukraine and the US. They're holding a chunk of Bitcoin, a huge chunk of a fairly big chunk of I wouldn't say huge, because if we come over here and look at MicroStrategy and look at Tesla, you know, I guess the US is holding more than Tesla. They're holding more than all of these companies here except for MicroStrategy, right? But so is the Ukraine. And compared to El Salvador, they're holding way more than El Salvador, the US and the Ukraine, right? So seems to me like they know the cash is trash. There's other stories. There's other stories we can bring out. Central banks are hoarding gold. Central banks buying gold. There's countless numbers of stories where you can find this out there about that record central bank buying gold. Here's why so many central banks are buying gold. Central banks buying gold at a record pace. Why? Central banks are stockpiling gold. Central banks buy gold at the fastest pace in 55 years. So it seems to me cash is trash. Gold, crypto, these type of assets, yeah, that's where I would want my money. I would not want it in these cash right now, right? Cash is becoming trash very quickly, and it seems like they're almost accelerating it. They continue to print money with these packages, right? In the meantime, stuff like Strike, shout out to Jack Maulers, right? Stuff like Strike is getting set up. Stuff like Ripple ODL. Something we have to pay attention to. Something we should let our families know about, right? Something we should really let them know about. Because I was talking to one of my old school uncles yesterday or a couple days ago, and like he's all about cash, and I ain't have enough time to really let him know what's going on. But like regular people, people unlike us who are like everyday crypto, right? But regular people, what they're seeing is they're seeing Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla argue over pictures, right? They're seeing SBF and Lex Friedman, right? Talk about how Sam Bankman-Fried just took all these people's money in crypto. They're seeing that. However, you guys, you can come up here and you can show your family. I'm trying to arm you guys with the information. Well, you know what? I know what you heard about crypto, but do you know that The Ukraine is using this crypto and they plan to use it as their CBDC. Oh, what's a CBDC? Glad you asked. Let me tell you. Did you know that Ripple, by using a crypto called XRP, which you can barely get in the US, by the way, which I think that's purposeful, right? You can barely get it in the US, but yet they're doing some great work over here in this BRICS nation in Brazil. They're doing some really great work there, where they're getting 780 billion payments. They're doing some great work there, right? Central banks are out here buying up gold, right? But yet a dollar, what the U.S. person hears is the dollar's the strongest it's ever been. Meanwhile, central banks out there buying up the gold. Don't talk much about Bitcoin. They just say it's a commodity and just move on, right? But yet the U.S. and the Ukraine are holding way more than the golden boy El Salvador, right? Just gotta look at that. Gotta look at that. Even your boy BlackRock over here is holding a little chunk. Holding a little bit. They holding a little bit, right? But of course, BlackRock is heavy in U.S. policy, and there's some that say that BlackRock is the true president of this country. Some people say that. So with the U.S. and the Ukraine holding this much, you could say, by extension, BlackRock holds more than 6 Bitcoin. You could say that, right? So we might be getting ourselves in position, but our families need to know this too. They need to know, like, hey guys, this is what's really going on. 80% of the dollars in existence have been printed in the last 2 years. This country has been around for like what, 400 years? Not that long compared to other countries. The last 2 years, 80% of the dollars have been printed. Like ridiculous inflation right now, really. When eggs went from 27 cents to like $8. That's insane, right? But here, let's look at a couple questions before we go into anything else. Let's see here. Right, you sure can. When do you speculate the next dip will come? I don't know. A lot of people are looking at. Well, shout out to Waters Above Crypto. I really like his channel. He gets into some of the gematria and astrology of crypto. And I know a lot of people think that that's like bunk. A lot of people think that astrology and gematria have nothing to do with the market. Um, but I think they're just extra tools. You guys know I've covered extensively, like, or at least I've covered enough about WD Gann, right? WD Gann was a 30, like a over a 30 degree Scottish Rite Mason, Freemason. And if you follow me on Rockfin, which I don't have my Rockfin up right now, I did a show on Gann, right? Or on Gann, excuse me, on Gann. So astrology definitely correlates with the crypto market. So with all markets. So definitely give Waters Above a follow. Um, I like, or he and some other people were saying like Friday the 13th might be a spot where something happens and occurs. I don't know. I don't know though. I don't know. Who knows? But from what he was saying, that Friday the 13th might be a spot. Who knows though? I really don't know. But if we come back here, and this is another thing we were talking about last night. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, like, and I've been saying this in different videos for a while. We're back to 2018, right? We're back to 2018, where the high in Bitcoin, and if I can, come on, mouse, come on, just work with me a little bit. So if you look at that one line, this one line here is crooked, so I'm going to try to remove it if I can. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not going to be able to remove that line. It's kind of annoying me though. You can see here, if you follow this straight line, you follow that line. I can't put my thing. Okay, there it is. You follow that line all the way down. We're kind of in the same place we were in 2018, which makes sense because we were in 2022, we were 2 years away from a halving. The halving occurs in 2024. Back here in 2018, they were 2 years away from a halving because the halving occurred in 2020. You see what I'm saying? So the chart's kind of repeating itself a little bit, kind of in an inverted way. Um, in 2018, the high was around 17, 15, 16. Here in 23 or 2022, the low was around 16, 17. So now if we fast forward to 2019, the low of like 10K, the low of 10K occurred somewhere here in July. So maybe we get a low of 10K somewhere around here. Since in 2019, we were about a year away from the halving. And then 2024 here will be a year away from the halving. So maybe that's something we gotta like, keep a little eye on. Of course, also we know that Celsius coins need to be sold, Voyager's coins need to be sold. We got companies like Silvergate laying off 40% of their people. Huobi just laid off 20% of their people. So there might be some more contagion happening. Bottom line, we got enough different signals here that the market may go lower, right? If we put it to the fact that everybody's laying off everybody, and that the chart said, the chart kind of shows it made it down to 10K some point in the last 4 year cycle before this one. Maybe we get down there, right? So that's where we are with that question. Let's see the next one here. We got South Africa. I feel like they're gonna dump them exchanges Bitcoin and release all the stake ETH at around the same time. Could be. That's a question. That's a good point, Crypto Neat. That's a good point. Um, they do still say that's a really good point. Thanks, brother. Um, the Shanghai upgrade on Ethereum is supposed to be finished around what, February, March. Once they release that stake ETH, that's another catalyst for some people to like sell off some ETH, right? That's more selling pressure once that staked ETH is released. So that's a good point, Neat. Thanks, brother, for pointing that out. And let's see when they say that that's supposed to be done. Shanghai ETH upgrade finish date. Set for March. So March is probably when we get another. That's probably when that all of that selling pressure happens. I agree with you, brother. Um, so if they can time Voyager people getting their money, like I hear there's been like a snag with that, like they're trying to block Binance from buying it or something like that. Um, but if Voyager people get their money, the Celsius money sold, maybe FTX people get back some of their money, they'll probably just bolt and sell too. So all of that selling pressure, then Ethereum people are able to unstake. All of that selling pressure may lead us down to a 10K Bitcoin. Yeah, yeah. Bitcoin has stayed pretty strong through all the stuff that's been tried, though. You're right. I agree. I agree with you. There have been a couple times where they've tried to cause some selling pressure there, but people are just holding strong as far as Bitcoin's concerned. But yeah, if you look at over, but if you look let me see, IRL between the USD and the digital yuan, uh, which do you think will become the next world reserve currency? Do you think that the digital dollar will pull something out of its hat? I think that's the big, great question, Ryu Shuriken, seven. That seems like, or Ru Shuriken, seven. It seems like a big tug of war between those two factions, um, which is why you can kind of like, I know they're blaming CZ for what happened with FTX, but it seemed like what Sam was planning for crypto was actually would have been harmful for CZ and the people he represents, right? Um, so it seems to be a big tug of war about who's going to be kind of the next reserve currency, and I'm not even sure who wins that. I'm not sure who wins that at this point. Um, yeah, on that point, I couldn't tell you, but it's seen. That tug of war is definitely being seen. So cool, guys. I think that's it. We'll just end it early. If there are no other questions, I'll stick around for just a second here, see if there are any questions, because I hate ending early and not making sure you guys are taken care of. So I'm going to stick around for like a couple more minutes just to make sure there are no more questions because I did start late today. Well, CZ is a Chinese. He's Canadian, but he's of Chinese descent. Um, so and China does help out Binance from time to time. XMR. Let's take a look. Yeah, that Binance Exchange is heavy over there. Oh, Monero. Okay, so Monero has a target on its back. Um, these world like uh, governments want to know what you're doing with money because they want to tax you. Um, they don't like that Monero hides from them what certain people are doing with their money. So Monero has a huge target on its back. Um, they haven't been able to crack it yet. Um, so personally, I think it's fine, but it does have a target on its back. Um, they don't like Monero. They don't like it. Um, so that would be my only concern. But of course, in the next bull run, it seems to be up every bull run. So it definitely has like it seems like at least a 3x in it for the next bull run. But just understand the powers that be the powers that be do not like Monero because they can't trace those payments. Now the thing is, if you're trying to be a person that's going to do that, how do you get a nice on ramp? So it's like your money isn't traced to Monero when you're putting it on there. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. I think his name is Privacy X. He talks about privacy coins and all of this type of stuff. I think he offers a service for that. Like if you want to just ghost your money like that. Um, so that's what he does. If y'all want to check him out, Privacy X on YouTube. He offers that type of service if you want to just be kind of come a ghost as far as your money is concerned. But yeah, I think Monero could do something in the next bull market, but it's public enemy number one as far as like people who fear like people having real sovereignty over their money in not trackable terms. All right, then that's the last question we got there. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Have a good one, guys. Peace.